Uh, perfect. And we will get started. So glad that you guys all made it a priority to get on tonight. March was good. We had a lot of growth. Y'all should be patting yourselves on the back because it was just wild. And so we really, really want to just make sure that we're being proactive about retention. And so that's what this whole call is going to hit on. We're going to talk about kind of how you can like create that retention relationship early on, but also like early on during the conversation before they even purchase, hit submit, but also like really good practices that you can put into place, systems that's going to help your retention stay solid and help your business just become a legacy business. First and foremost, I want to just make sure that I talk about the April incentives because I feel like this is a call super early in the month. I know a couple of us have already had some calls with our teams, but I love how Taylor and Jamie are with each other, but they're each on their phone. Hey. That's awesome. But anyways, I really want to just make sure that I mention the incentives going on this month so everyone has an idea of what's going on. But so it's $16 off to new VIPs. Plexus's 16th anniversary this year. So they're giving $16 off to new VIPs. First of all, that's awesome. And then it also goes to show the longevity that our company has really like put out there for us. I know everybody's like, new company, you need to start with a startup business. You guys, I'm all about the longevity, the quality, all the good things that come with it. Okay. They have shown us we have our trust in them. So that is awesome. Congratulations to Plexus. And thank you so much for giving us that $16 off to offer new VIPs. The second incentive is help 6 or help 3 and create one level 1 silver and get a walking pad. I do want to put out there, I believe you cannot, or no. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, never mind. Yeah, help 6 or help 3 and create a level 1 silver and you will get a walking pad. The rank rewards are happening again this month. So if you got a rank reward last month, which I think I see some of us on here who did. I see Taylor, Jamie, Melissa, Angela, Callie. Yeah, y'all, congratulations, Kristen, Charmy. They all snagged rank rewards. So that is happening again this month. So if you're pushing for another rank or if you're at the rank of gold or above, all you need to do to attain that is to add 3 people and either stay where
I'll
you
go find something
or hit a new rank. Okay. And then the save 10 code is back. I've been using that like crazy. And then sleep is the product of the month. And do not forget about Velocity 25 and Velocity 125. How that works, if there is a VIP. So VIP, we got this kind of mixed up earlier. They have to be a VIP in order to use Velocity 25 since September. If they're a VIP that's upgraded to an ambassador since September, it is Velocity 125. So I know we have some of you that started since September, but you guys have like blown it up with your business and you're now considered ambassadors. The registration is 125. Okay, so we got all of that housekeeping out of the way. Now let's get into the good stuff. Retention. You guys, I'm going to be really honest and vulnerable. Retention was hard for me. Okay. And it's still not a strong suit for me. That is why I'm really passionate about talking about it because I do not want anyone on this call to experience the heartache and the frustration that I have with retention. I see Kate just got on here, so she knows the conversations I've had with her about retention. So I want to explain to you why retention is important. So recruiting, posting, having the conversations with people that are excited to get started, that know they want to buy, that is exciting. Like that is like the super attractive part of this, right? Like it's almost like a high, it's exhilarating. But the true work and the growth of your business is going to come from retention, keeping those orders coming in every month. And you guys, when you're looking for a place to go to build an income from home or while you're working or whatever you're doing, while you're rodeoing, while you're in college, I find it super smart to find a company that has a product that is consumable. God bless it. It just fell into my lap because I started taking Plexus with not wanting to start the business. But the beauty of our products is that they are consumable every single month. But on top of that, they're all natural products. They are clean and they are holistic. And so with that being said, they don't start working usually right off the bat. Okay. And we have to be super transparent about that with people. And we also have to help people get through that phase where they're not sure if they really like the products. Because once they get through that phase and they become someone who is ordering every month, that is when your business grows and it continues to grow. So I have this visual I want to share with you guys because this is how I see retention. Maybe it's because I'm a livestock girl, I have horses, but I look at retention as a water trough. I always have. And the goal of wherever you want to get is the very tippy top, right? Whether that's 12-star diamond, jewel, whatever it is for you, the top of the water trough is where you want to get. Okay? All water troughs have a plug. So if your retention plug is this big, it's never going to fill up. The water is going to come out faster than you can fill it up. And your business is either going to stay stagnant or it's going to fall behind. If your retention plug is small, which we have to be real, like not everyone's going to love Plexus. Like do not beat yourself up if you cannot keep 100% of your people on Plexus. But we need to do our best to keep as many as we can. So if your retention plug is small, your water is going to fill and meet the top. Okay? And we're going to continue adding water so that it stays at the top. So I told you I would share my little retention story, and then we'll go into, I want to talk about conversations, how you can like hit retention from the beginning. But retention, I think I shared with you guys as a spoiler, wrecked my business. And it wrecked my mindset with this business because I let it, but I want to spare you guys that heartache. So when I ranked senior gold, I can remember the month. It was the same month that Kate went sapphire. And I was in a wedding and there was 2 days left of the month. And I was at like 185 points. And from the day of that wedding, which was like the 30th to the end of the 31st, I had hit like 280 points. So I'd almost added 100 points in those 2 days. And it was all because we had this easy challenge going on where it was slim, active, and ease. And I don't know what happened. I went live in my Facebook, but I had people wanting to sign up left and right. They were signing up their friends. It was wild. And I ranked senior gold. We celebrated. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take a week. Like, I just don't want to do anything with Plexus. I'm just like, that was awesome. I'm just going to take a week and not look at my phone, not look at my back office. And then it turned into 2 weeks. Like I had a little baby. I was helping JR a lot. And then it turned into 3 weeks. And you guys, straight up for a month, I didn't check in with anyone. I didn't start anyone on their products. It was incredibly irresponsible, and I could punch myself in the face if I could go back. And my business plummeted. And for, I would say, so it was about a year, my business did not grow. I did not re-rank senior gold. It just like, and it was sad. I was like, man, like what's going on? But my retention was terrible. People had lost trust in me. Like I couldn't blame them, right? Like I set them up with the product. They spent their hard-earned money on it. And I was like, have fun. I ranked senior gold, cool. And so when I decided that I wanted to take this business seriously, that was a really big aspect I needed to like take control of and like decide that even though it was a weak point for me, I was going to build off of it. So don't let that happen to you. Okay? Please, because it's heartbreaking. All right. So, conversations. This is something that I feel like has kind of surfaced when you're talking. There's several trainers in the network marketing world. Bob Heilig is one of them. I always say his last name wrong. He's a really good one. Kristen Boss, all of those people. And it's really focusing on having transformational versus transactional conversations with people. And honestly, with what we do, being transparent with people. And so the example I want to use right now is if someone reaches out to you and they're like, hey, Kristen, I've seen you posting about these products. I would really like to give them a try, or I would really like some more information. Okay. And you're like, a lot of the times we want to go the route where we're like, oh, okay, great. Well, what makes you feel like you want to start these products? Like what do you feel like you're suffering with that is, or you're struggling with that's related to gut health? And she might be like, well, I'm really tired all the time. I don't have a ton of energy. I have these like 10 pounds that are just sticking and they won't come off. And like, I have some stomach sensitivities. And so what I always used to do is be like, I know exactly what you need. You need the triplex. Okay. I'd be like, the triplex does XYZ. It's going to help you. Okay. Here's your share a cart link. And sometimes they'd check out. Okay, I'm ready to go. Cool. And then other times they may ghost me. They may not go through the cart process. I'd have to follow up, all that stuff. And so what I have learned that has personally helped me is that I don't know how many of you have experienced Charmy's Y stack, but I almost do a Y stack on them. And I get real relatable with them and real empathetic with them. And so if she messages me and she's like, hey, I've seen your post. I'd like more information. I think I might need this. And you're like, hey, I'd love to share more information with you. Just out of curiosity, what makes you think Plexus would help you? Like what's something you're struggling with? And she says the same thing. Well, I have a lot of fatigue, 10 pounds not coming off, and I have some stomach sensitivities. And I think that is an opportunity for you to get super empathetic with them and relatable. Man, I totally get it. There's nothing like waking up and feeling like you've been awake all night or you didn't sleep good, barely able to get out of bed. And then you have to go get a workout in because you're trying to lose weight, or maybe your cravings are like through the roof. So you have like no control on what you're eating. And then there's nothing worse than having stomach sensitivities. And then you want to ask another question, or you can be like, I totally am getting where you're coming from. I struggle with XYZ. Tell me, like, how long have you been trying to lose 10 pounds? And she might be like, well, it's been 2 years since XYZ, or it's been 6 months since. For me, I ran a marathon and my body was just in like total stress mode and it like puffed up. It might be recently. And you can be like, oh, that's so rough. Tell me a little bit more about your stomach sensitivities. Like, when does that happen? Well, it happens when I eat dairy, or it happens when I do this. Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember I struggled with this. That's why I really was excited when Plexus helped me. And then ask her about her fatigue. And then you can even do a little vision casting with them. Like, I really think these products could help you. I'm so glad you reached out to me. I know like when I was feeling that way, I was a little hesitant to start something, but all I could think about was not feeling this way anymore. Like feeling better. Can you imagine how it'd feel like to just be able to jump out of bed and rather be like, oh, I'm so tired. And you'd be like, yeah, that would be really cool. And so this is when I like to put in a testimony. Okay. So I go find a testimony that is related to how they are feeling. And I read through it and I make sure it matches them. And if I cannot find one, I start asking people for something. Okay. And I say, hey, I know you didn't ask for this, but I ran across this and it honestly made me think of you. I noticed that Susie shared in here that she's struggling with XYZ, and you had told me you're struggling with XYZ. Do you feel like you relate to that at all? And a lot of times they're like, yeah, hardcore. And then I'll be like, okay, so this is what Susie took. Okay. And then this is something I want you guys to start saying. I want you to say, I want you to start on this pack. Okay. Because when you approach someone with a confident recommendation, not like, hey, this is what I think you should take, or this is what my friend said when you're like, this is what I want you to take. You know, when you take your horse to the vet, if a vet walks up to me and they're like, and I'm about ready to drop $800 on them to get injected, and they're like, well, I really think we should do his SIs, and maybe we should do his hawk. I'm like, dude, I'm leaving. But when he's like, yo, your horse is sore here, here, here. I'm going to do this, 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 and this is going to result in XYZ. I'm like, perfect. I'll pay at the window. Okay. When you make people confident in you, they're like, okay, I believe in you. Okay. And now this is where it gets really hard. And even myself, because you're like, okay, I got this gal ready. I have this gal ready to check out. But I want you to challenge yourself to stop and say, okay, Susie, I think you and I both agree that this is the route you need to take to start feeling better. And I am so, so excited to start this journey with you. However, I really like to be transparent with people about this. The things that you're struggling with are not going to go away overnight, and they're not going to most likely go away in 30 days. And here's why. Okay. It takes and I go into like the cell buildup and the cell breakdown. And if you guys want more like explanation on that, but I just say it takes 90 days for our cells to die off and rebuild. And that is what this system is essentially doing. It's going in naturally, and it is breaking down everything that you have going on and putting all the good back into it. And that takes a little bit of time. Okay. And they're going to be like, oh, okay, what is that going to entail? And you're like, well, it's going to take, I would suggest 90 to 100 days. And when you really put the importance in on them being consistent and giving that 90 to 100 days a shot, I think they start to see more and more that they're making a very wholesome investment that is very meaningful. And if they like balk at the price, a lot of times I say, I understand where you're coming from. I get that we want to budget and we want our money to go where we feel like it's serving us, but I don't know how this would not serve you. And especially if someone's like, I mean, I know not all of us on here are horse girls. I'm making a lot of horse examples, but if someone's like into horses or cattle, I'm like, it's just like our animals. Okay. Like the cheap stuff's not going to work, and the stuff that works it's going to be valued. It's going to cost a little bit. And they're like, yeah, you're totally right. Okay. I've never gotten a negative like feedback on that when I use that analogy or when I say that. And then Sharmi has shared with me before that she has a really good one. She says, I think it's not in Sharmi, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's, look, if you cannot give this 90 to 100 days, that's not really how these supplements are designed. Yeah, they're going to start working in the first 30 days, but you truly most likely will not see your best results until that 90-day mark. And if you're honestly not in a position to do that, or if you don't want to, these may not be the products for you right now. And a lot of times they're like, oh, well, I really want to do this. And then if they continue to balk on the price, bring up the share with 3 with them. Because at this point, you're having a very in-depth conversation with them. Like you should be like having a really good quality conversation with them. The triplex video is one I really like to share. If they're still like in the middle of your conversation, because these conversations, you guys, have taken a couple days before for me. And it's worth it. But if there's like a messenger event going on, I'll be like, hey, I know we've been talking about this and you're a little bit hesitant still. Can I put you in this messenger event? I have a really good video that I can share with you guys that talks about, it's 2 doctors that take Plexus. And I share that with them. If they're like, I just don't know about the consistency part, I don't know about that. And I'm like, well, here's a really great medical like terminology explanation as to why I share that, and I show that to them. And so when they sign up, you guys, they are darn ready to go in 90 days. And yeah, it took a little bit of work, but it also alleviated a little some of the work down the road. You know what I mean? Now they're expectant. Now they know they will need to be on it for 90 days. So is there any questions before I move on to kind of getting into like more of like system stuff? Is there any questions that you guys have? I want you to know that this is like not a one size fits all conversation, and it's going to take practice. And I really recommend like reading books like How to Influence People and Make Friends, or like listen to the what's that book called? Phil Jones, I think, wrote it. What is the name of that book? But anyways, Exactly What to Say. That's another good one. Bob Helig has a really good podcast I can share with you, but like the Exactly What to Say book is really good because one of the things I took from that is you always want to end it with an open-ended question. Okay, you always, yeah, Get Over Your Damn Self's a good one. That one has a lot of good objections in there. So yeah, are there any questions before we move forward about like verbiage?
This isn't a question, but just a real quick tidbit of a testament to doing exactly what Katie says. I have been telling my people who sign up to be ready for 90 days consistently now. And last month, I signed a gal up on the first and went through all this, told her, you got to be ready for 90. And she kind of balked at it at first, did that whole conversation. And so this month on the first or before the first, I reminded her, like, hey, just wanted to remind you that subscription's coming up. I know we already have a plan for 90. And I told her about perk points and stuff. And so when she got back to me and was like, "Oh yeah, it went through. I'm happy. I'm excited. Like I'm ready to do this and stick with it for the time." Do you know how relieving that was to have someone that was like excited for their subscription to go through? They were ready to give it the time. They weren't like panicked about a subscription or worrying about everything. They're already on board and ready for their subscription. They're ready to give it the time. It just makes it so relieving and just very enjoyable when they're already on the same page as you. And so, like Katie says, taking that time to just be honest with them and straightforward, it pays off in the long run and makes it, I think, more fun.
Yes, 100%. And that's something when I just shared with you the terrible way that I went about my business, is that was something that was really hard for me, is because I would get messages from people like, I just had a subscription go through and I didn't know that. And I'd be like, oh, well, I set you up on a subscription. You didn't see it. I mean, thought you knew, but they don't, because they're just buying a pack. And so that is a gut punch that you want to avoid. So Kristen's 100% like right there. Now, I know the end of the month was pretty wild, and I even had a couple people where I was just like, yeah, check out, please. If you guys are in our rank up chat, you saw it. But don't use that to discourage you, because you have 30 days to build that relationship with them. And I think it's really smart when you dosage them. So if you aren't dosaging your people, I start my people out really slow. I give them like one, that's something for another call, but like always try to get your people on good dosages, dosing systems. But that is a conversation you can have with them even there, like, hey, I mean, even if they face detox, like we want to preface them with detox. And so you can really build that relationship within that 30 days. I had a gal that did not have a subscription on. So when you get to Ruby, it's Ruby or Senior Ruby, Plexus, it's really nice, but they will start giving you here and there VIP customers. You get so many a month, or like retail customers. You don't know them, but you get them. And then a lot of times, because I have my some share carts in my Instagram, I will get customers that I never interacted with sign up. So I have no idea who they are. A lot of times I call them on the phone. It's really awkward, but I'm really good at being awkward because I'm an awkward person. I'm just like, hey, you don't know me. Do you have time to talk right now? But they don't usually have subscriptions on. And I just got a gal to get her subscription on because through the dosing process, I was like, look, Like, this ain't no 30-day process, Kimberly. Like, this is gonna take some time. And she was like, oh, okay, good to know. And so she put a subscription on. So if you have somebody you feel like, man, I didn't really have this conversation with them, do not freak out. You have 30 days, build that relationship with them. So, kind of moving into systems. There's a lot of different systems that you can use. Sharmi and Kristen are going to share theirs. I'm going to share mine. But one of the things I think is really, really important that even I still struggle with, I need to get better, is plugging them into a community. And I used to be really bad about just putting them in a group and not saying anything because I just assumed they would know. Like, oh, this is a Plexus group. But having a message made up already typed like, hey, so and so, I'm adding you to this page. You're gonna find giveaways here. You're gonna find really good info. Maybe you should be putting them in Mountain Movers Open Range. You're gonna find testimonies for encouragement. I'm just gonna put you in there. It's a really great community. Something that Kristen and I just started as kind of an experiment that seems to be going really well is we do a customer care chat every 90 days. And so we put them in that chat and we started off with like product knowledge, detox stuff, little like 5-minute videos. We do fun little giveaways throughout the week. They kind of start like leaning on each other, asking each other questions. We talked about what we were going to do for Easter. And so that will run 90 days and we'll end it and then we'll put a new group of people in. But those people should still be plugged into like a page outside of that. Let me see here. So always make sure they're plugged into groups. Always invite them to challenges we're having. Like we have that spring reset challenge going on. Invite them. One thing I also like to do, so going into my personal way of doing systems, and like, so Taylor added a lot of people last month. I think it was like 23. So this may not be something she wants to do this month. If she does, I'm more than happy to help you. But I send a frother that's like $7 off of Amazon to all of my new customers. And I put like a little note, it's a little gift note. And I just say, hey, I love using this thing for mixing up my pink drinks. It makes it so much easier. I hope you enjoy. And I always get a text back like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy. I love this thing. Thank you so much. And then I also send them a card. I send them a thank you card with an active stick in it. So they're getting 2 little super easy gifts from me. They're feeling special. They're feeling loved. They chose to buy from Plexus, not Target. They're getting the extra attention. Okay, I've found that to be very, very beneficial and like helpful. I use Excel. I export all my people out of my back office and I look at everyone in there and I pre-plan out who I am going to follow up with. So my follow-up system, I go into the back office. If you have Excel, I export it out and then I sort everything. Oh, I have a question. Let me answer this real fast. No, I send that baby straight from Amazon. And then I even get a picture in my email of their doorstep when it arrives. Callie had asked if I send it from Amazon or if I order it and then send it. Okay. So I get onto Plexus or the back office, and this is really helpful if you have a larger number of customers. And then I export it into an Excel spreadsheet. I used to work in Excel a lot. So this is my forte. So if you're sitting here like, I don't want anything to do with Excel, that is okay. But then I sort them by my level 1s, and then I'm also able to sort them by who has subscriptions off and who has subscriptions on. And I have a separate list, and I follow up with 5 people a day that are taking Plexus that have a subscription on and that have had it on for more than 90 days. I'm following up with them at least once a month. I try to follow up twice a month. And then those people who do not have subscriptions on that are not really ordering, I still chat with them. Like I have them in my like notes and I just, even if I just go say hello. New people, I am checking in with them at least twice a week. If they are doing the reset, I am trying to check in with them every day. Should be checking in with them every day because the reset is tough. If they are not in a reset group, should be checking in with them every day, even twice a day. And then when they start the products, I am checking in with them 1 to 2 times a week to make sure their dosages are okay, they're feeling okay, all that stuff. So see what I mean when like this is where the work starts. Like it is work to follow up, but you guys, it is meaningful work because you're building trust with these people. They're starting to value the time you're putting into them and they feel seen. They're like, wow, this girl really cares. So when they do hit a bump in the road, it's not like you're just out of the blue messaging them like, hey, it's been 4 weeks and I know that you just started, but how are you feeling? And they're like, oh, I haven't even started my products. Or I just started them 2 weeks ago. And you're like, oh, great. Definitely gonna have to move your subscription out or you're gonna have a buildup. So you see what I mean? It's super meaningful. It's work, but it's like, it matters. Sharmi, I'm going to let you share what you do, and then I know that you have, if you have it handy, I use the Plexus notebook that Kelsey made, but maybe you could show them like the week at a glance or some of those aspects that make retention really easy, and then like your tracker sheet. And then Kristen, I know you use a planner, so maybe you could show them how you use your planner after Sharp.
All right. I do. So I did this kind of to begin with, and then there was this really cool workbook that came out. Trying to move to better light so you guys can see me. And I purchased the workbook, and I was like, this is what my teacher brain was trying to create all along that I could not, like, I guess, figure out something that worked as a good system. So, I'll show you guys the workbook. So if you've ever done Winning Day or something similar to Winning Day, this workbook is very similar. I'm sorry, I'm on my phone, so let me turn this around. So this is what it looks like empty. So you have up here your weekly plan, to-do list. Then you have each day as the day, right? And so I fill this out. I'll show you guys what it looks like when I fill it out. But you have it for each day. And then down here, the weekly action sheet. This is, so like your Plexus posts. So again, if you guys have done Winning Day, this is very similar. But your Plexus posts, doing them 5 days a week. Your stories, doing 5 days a week. And then engaging for 15 minutes on, I'm on the phone, non-Plexus stuff, that's five times. And then follow 15, okay, bring it to me, okay? Follow 15 new people and all of that stuff, your new reach outs, customer care, people that are ordering, people that are not ordering, coaching calls, three-way messages, and then this is just like a weekly recap on how your team is doing. Like Katie said, for those of you that are just kind of starting out, it is a possibility that you are going to need more, like the bigger your team is, the more you're going to need these lines. But I put like my customers that are quote unquote easy to forget about in this list right here. And so like people that have been doing this for like 2 years with me, right? And I check in with them like once a month at this point. They go here so that I don't forget that I need to check in with them. But what it looks like once it's kind of, so here's like this week, not fully filled out, but partially filled out. So I break it down on like what my post is going to be, what my story is going to be, who I need to follow up with, my personal or professional development, and my call. So then with this, it also comes with this follow-up sheet. And this is what I utilize, and I absolutely love it. Thank you. So this is a 90-day follow-up system. And what I love about it is that you can put people's names here. And then you have day 1, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 30, 45, 60, 75, 90. And what I did is I went in and I put all of like when they are going to get their products. So like I send them, so very similar to Katie. I try to send a frother or like samples. A cool sample thing that I got from Emily Roberts is that you send them some samples with like a cute little note that says, tag me in your post when you get these. And so it almost acts as a referral for you as well. Sometimes I get behind and sometimes I have to play catch up, but that's okay. It's still a surprise when they get them. And then also sending a frother is really fun as well. There's also super cute, like I don't know if you've ever scrolled Etsy for Plexus swag, but there's a super cute tracker, like notebook or notepad tracker on taking their products, like what products they're taking. Did they take their morning regimen, their night regimen, et cetera, et cetera. So if they're on like a bigger pack, that would be a fun thing to send as well. But anyways, so I put the day 1 is the day that they start. I send them each their personalized regimen before they get their products, like the day before they get their products or the day that they are going to be getting their products. And then this is the day that they start. And then from there, I filled this out for every date. You know, these are my people from March. So every date that I need to follow up with them. And so for me, it's really nice because when I'm doing this plan up here, I go to this sheet and I find out who I need to follow up with on what days. And then I go fill their name in up here. And so once I'm done with it, you know, I put an X through it. So that way, like, I did it, I followed up with them. And so I love that this is every 3 days until you get to till like they've done it for a month, right? Or close to a month. And then it goes out to every like 15 days. But I thoroughly enjoy using this system. Obviously those that become business builders I talk to is probably more than 3 times or every 3 days, but for those that like are struggling or maybe like Katie said, like, oh, I haven't even started my products yet. Like this is a very like structured way to know when they started and are they taking them, because when you check in with them on day 1 and you send them their regimen and you tell them like, are you planning on starting today? Are you planning on starting tomorrow? That's when you put down for day 1. So in 3 days, I'm going to follow up with them and ask them like, hey, how's it going? Like, how are you feeling after 3 days? And like, if you follow the little like triplex pack that they put in, or like the description that they put in how to start your triplex, it says that the first 3 days they should be taking Slim. And so it's nice because you can say like, okay, after day 3, like, how is your Slim going? Are you ready to implement, you know, some of the pill products? Myself, I kind of do a little bit more personalized type regimen for my customers. And so I have all of that like written down and next to their name on my my iPad. I have like what everybody has ordered, what their regimen is, and stuff like that. But you could also add this on a sheet like this or whatever. Like you could write their name smaller and put in like what they ordered. But it's nice because on day 3, when you check in with them, they're going to be like, oh, I actually didn't start on Thursday like I said I was. And so they're like, okay, well, no big deal. Start taking your Slim like today or tomorrow, and I'll check back in 3 days. Now they know like, oh, she's literally going to check in with me every 3 days. And I should probably, because that's embarrassing that I spent all this money on these products and I'm not even taking them. So it's easier for them to kind of like push it under the rug and get behind. If you're not checking in on them. But when you're checking in on them, they feel like, one, like I should take my products because she's gonna ask me and that's embarrassing if I tell her no. But two, they realize that we care about them. We care about their success. We care about like, oh, well, I can openly tell her like, I honestly don't feel very good. So how can we fix this? And she's gonna work with me to fix it. So that I love following up with people every 3 days. Is it a lot of work? Absolutely. Absolutely, it's a lot of work. But when I break my days down, like I showed you guys on that little calendar sheet, I take a picture of that calendar sheet if it's a day that I'm going to be out and about or if I'm going to Reno for work or whatever. I take a picture of that and I have it with me the whole time. Any down moment that I have, I'll send a message. Okay. Follow-ups also, like I like to stick to my follow-ups being product-based follow-ups for at least like the first 15, 18 days, right? Once we hit there, then I will kind of taper off and have more conversation, not so plexus based. I still have conversation with all of my people non-plexus based, right? Like it's very important that you're not just the plexus person. Like your friendship with somebody that bought from you isn't just plexus anymore. Like they want to still be your friend. They still want to be a family member. Don't just like completely be straight plexus with them. But as far as like my 3-day follow-ups, those are plexus. I also make it an intentional to like either comment or message them or say something completely non-plexus related. So that they know that I'm still here as a friend or I'm still here as an acquaintance or whatever, like building that trust and knowing that you just care about them. Kate did share in the chat for those of you that didn't see, Kelsey is putting together, the person that built this notebook is putting together a notebook for our whole team, with our QR codes and things like that. That will be a PDF. So that will be to everybody this week, which will be super exciting. Because you probably saw at the top, the 90-day follow-up system has a QR code. When you scan that QR code, it takes you to some verbiage that you can use on some of your customers or your customers as well. So any questions on my setup? I'm a very like visual person. That's why like I am in the color personality test. I'm like a true gold where I have to make lists of my lists.
Very
So
visual,
this
that's why you
like
guys
this
very
is what
good
works
dry can.
for me. So
Thanks, Sharmi. Kristen, do you want to go ahead and share your planner method? Maybe I know I'm terrible with my planner, but I know there's some of us that are planner lovers and we live out of them. So maybe you can show us how you can utilize your planner for this.
Sure thing. First off, check out my farmer's tan. I'm very disheveled today, guys. It was a very long day eating horses worked, so sorry I'm a mess. But I am going to be honest with you guys. I have the notebook. I'm going to start using it because it is an amazing way. I've checked it out. It's amazing for if you are growing your business and trying to keep track of a lot of things. But if you're a person like I have been for a long time and you're like, I love planners, I'm used to them, I'm comfortable with them, because here's the thing, you want to use whatever you're comfortable with. Like we are 100% that. If you're someone who's comfortable with your phone, your planner, a notebook, use that way, because if you're used to that and you know that's what you're going to be best with, you want to make sure that's what you're doing, as long as you're getting the things done, right? And so I'll show you how I use a planner. First off, this is an old one because I've already failed and I left my planner at my parents' last night. So that is the downside of a planner. You might forget it sometimes, but this works good because I can show you guys. It's kind of empty. I can show you how I've done it. One thing though, I will say, do not rely on just a planner for your whole business. This is great for follow-up and keeping track of things, but like how that notebook also has ways of working your business, If you're using a planner for your follow-up, make sure you have an IPA sheet as well. And if you're on here and you're new and you're like, what's IPA? That's income producing activities. And those are things you should be using to work your business. So this is great for using a follow-up system and customer care, and I'll show you how. But make sure you have that as well to know how to actively work your business because they help immensely. If you want to find that, reach out to your upline, ask us, we can get you an IPA. So, first and foremost, when I sign someone up, I immediately write down my customer care for them on that day. And so, like in this notebook, this is going to be hard to turn around because it's massive, but I put on there on that day, I signed up Allie. I'm going to add her to the customer care chat that Katie just mentioned, and then our pages. And then I'm also going to tell her that I am going to be following up with her regularly. Like she knows that business because I'm telling her right then, look, I'm going to be checking in with you. You be ready for it. And so after that, a few days out, I am going to make sure that I check in and see that she got her package. That is important, guys. I have done this, and I'm sure Katie, Kate, and Charmy are the same way that you've done this for a while, that you might have an idea based on where someone lives when they'll get their package. Um, if you're new and you're starting out and you're like, I have no idea when they're going to get their package, go in your back office, find your points, find their order, click on that. You'll find their shipment and the tracking information and when they'll get their package. If you need help with that, ask us. When you know that information, write it down in your planner that day that you're going to follow up with them and ask them about their package and if they've gotten it. Because you never know with this shiesty mailing system these days too. They might lose their package and you might have to help them with that. So make sure they get their package. I wrote on here, send dosage and detox tips on that day too. And then after that day that she supposedly gets her package, if she gets it, for the next few days, I put in my planner that I am going to check in with her, especially if it's reset. Like Katie said, it's always going to be different depending on what products they're using. If it's reset, I'm going to be checking in every day and helping and supporting her. But if it's just triplex, I'm checking in there's those first few days. And in these spaces that I'm checking in with her and doing my customer care, I actually have specific topics to ask them. Please do not check in with someone and just be like, hey, Allie, how's it going? Because that is so vague. Like, she's going to come at you with, like, it's going great. Thank you. End of conversation. So do not come at someone with that. In these follow ups for these days, I know it's huge. You can't see. I'll just read it to you. I put on here the next day after a package, check in with Allie. Is she drinking her water with them products? Like, is she drinking enough water? Make sure she is if she isn't. The next day, check in with Allie. Is she finding a routine? Is the dosage fitting her? Like, their dosage is going to be changing throughout the first couple of weeks with triplex. You want to make sure that they're finding a routine with it. The next day, detox symptoms. I've already told her about detox when she was starting the products, but I'm going to check in and say, hey, are you feeling any of those symptoms? How are your bathroom habits? It's awkward, but I'm going to ask anyways because that's our job. When it comes to the triplex, you got to know how many times a day they're going, guys. That's just, you have to. It's an awkward question, but you got to ask it. After those first few days where she knew I was going to be checking in with her, if she starts finding a routine, I'm going to check in with her like once a week and scale back. But I'm still going to be specific. I'm going to ask her if she's feeling detox. I'm going to ask her about her energy levels. But every single person is different, you guys. If they're really struggling with some gut issues, or like me, I had really bad acne. There's certain things you're struggling with, you're going to have to alter that. And if you have them down for once a week and they're really not, doing well, you're going to have to go in and change that. And that's just how it is. But I continue to write down my follow-up system for the rest of 90 days. In the first week, I'm checking in with them regularly. After that, for the rest of that month, I'm checking with them at least once a week, depending on how they're doing. And then the rest of 60 days after that, I'll check in with them every other week. And here's the thing with that, it's similar to what Charmy says. For everyone, I'm starting to do checking in with them every other week, but I might check in with them and just chat with them on how life's going, check in with their products, but like just have conversation with them and continue to build that relationship because that's so important. You can't just be that person that after a while you're constantly just like, hey, how's your products going? Then 2 weeks later, hey, how's your products going? And you're not having conversation with them about anything else. Like, you also want to be a real person to them and like maybe get to know them a little bit and see how their life's doing. So even if I have a customer for a long time and they're a regular with me, I'm still going to have it down to check in with them. And I may just be checking out their profile and see what they've been up to lately, check in with their products, but check in on their life too, because that's so important. So yeah, that's how I use my planner. You can be successful with using a planner on your follow-up, but like I said, make sure you also have an IPA system as well to work your business because that's important. But yeah, that's how I use my planner to do my customer care.
All right, awesome. Thank you guys. Does anybody have any questions before we close this out? Any ads, any comments? Cool. I hope this made you feel like you were equipped to take on the month. If you're overwhelmed, please reach out to your upline. You're not in this alone. If you feel like you cannot handle following up with the people you've added and you need help, please. We are here to help you. We will never tell you like, oh, just make more time because we've all been in your shoes. It is truly a habit to form. And so block out that time, whether it's 15 minutes, and just work at it every day. So yeah, with that being said, I'm going to say a quick prayer for us all, and then we will close out. Dear Lord, thank you so, so much just for blessing us with Plexus, the products that are blessing others' lives, the income that's blessed us, and that has the potential to bless others and is blessing others, Lord. And I thank you so much for these girls you've brought into my life and that you've put them in each other's lives and just kind of the sisterhood it's built. And I just pray that you keep your hand in our businesses and that your will be done, and that when people see us, they see Jesus, Lord, and how much we love him, and that we're just doing this just to help others. And yeah, we're just so thankful, Lord. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right, you guys. Oh, I have a couple chats. Okay, cool. Jamie, you've got this. All right. I'll see you guys. Love you all.
Thank you.
Bye.